The video you watched of her, how long was it?
An hour and 40 minutes.
Okay. These 3 books, they'll just like take you away. They're unbelievable, especially Keepers of the Garden. That book, Convoluted Universe #1 and 2. Those 3 books are just awesome.
Right. Okay, we're an hour in. Does anybody want to take a break or keep going? Keep going?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay.
One of the sayings out there has been as well, when you talk about the split, has been as well, and I don't know if it's in the Bible, but brother will not recognize brother, meaning the consciousness, the different levels of consciousness, that brother will not recognize brother, which I think is interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, these higher dimensional beings, they talk all the time about how they come from higher dimensions. And then they're stepping down into the 3rd dimension here to help us move forward, you know, into our plan of ascension. So I kind of like that idea. I like to think that you know, once this process takes place and you know, some of us do move into the 5th, and of course others aren't going to be, you know, awake, and they're going to stay behind here in the 3rd.
My family hardly recognizes me anyhow.
So I mean, I'd love to. And, you know, that's part of what I feel my mission is after that, you know, I want to step back down and help, you know, with service to others is what they call it, you know, to help them, you know, move along and you know, raise their vibrational rate, you know, raise their quality of living, you know, raise their spirituality, and eventually, you know, end up in the same path that you know, I'm walking.
Well, I think she's kind of touching on a question I had when you said people would split and they'd be dead to the person. Well, that was the question. I mean, I'm wondering, do we disappear and they forget all about us? Do they forget us, who we are?
Yeah, I can't answer that question.
I mean,
I don't know for sure. I really don't. I don't.
I mean, it's the age-old rapture, isn't it?
You know, I hear other people that are asked that question, and then they say, well, you can't put a finger on what's going to happen because you're still to create it. You know, we have the power of thought to manifest and create, so we have to create our future, and we don't know what we're going to create yet. I mean, you know, it's, you know, basically, you know, people are awakening and their consciousness is raising, but is that happening on a high enough level, you know, where I mean, there's just too many variables, and you can't you know, put it out on a map and say this is going to happen, 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 because you know, I read channels all the time, like Salusa from Mike Quincy, and they say, well, you know, we can't just tell you exactly what's going to happen because it hasn't been created yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Even the higher dimensional beings don't even know what's going to happen. So this has never happened in the history of the universe. So
Well, that's what Dolores says, that no one knows because
yeah.
this is the first time it's ever happened in the universe. We're in this time. It's never happened before.
So I can't answer the question. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Anything I can speculate and theorize all day long, but that's exactly what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack now, and go to why the existence of extraterrestrials has been kept a secret from us. And basically, it boils down to money and greed and power and control. That's what it all boils down to. Is why it's been kept from us. Because if we were to commingle with higher dimensional beings freely as we wanted to, you know, our spirituality be raised, we would be freer people. We wouldn't be a slave to the elite or the government or anybody else, you know, who's put this draconian system in place, you know, for us to slave ourselves to death, to survive and buy the trinkets and all the over-consumerism and everything. Free energy devices would be, you know, out there, which have been created already. Back 100 years ago, Tesla invented, you know, free energy devices. And I was just watching. I think it was on the History Channel. they're talking about how he figured out 0-point energy. He was backed by J.P. Morgan. He competed with Edison, but they were kind of, you know, cohorting together. You know, Edison was trying to push the DC power, and then and Tesla was pushing the AC. So basically, as far as free energy goes, he had that experiment out in Denver that, you know, it's a great big power tower that, you know, shot lightning up into the sky. And then what he did was he activated, you know, the 0-point energy field that, you know, worldwide, if, you know, people could just grab that energy, you know, via antennas, you know, out of the sky into their homes and use it as free energy. Well, what happened was J.P. Morgan was financially backing him, and he was saying, well, you know, that's free energy. You know, we can't be giving away this stuff for free now. So then the paradigm changed from that free energy 0-point that Tesla invented to, well, you can't put a meter on it. You got to be able to put a meter on it, charge people money, and make money off of it. So then that's hence why we're into the coal, fossil fuel, nuclear energy paradigm. Gasoline, it's because you can pay that money for it, and it's not free. And for, you know, that was the first free energy device that existed. Also, yeah, you know, that's 0-point. You know, you know, they've also, you know, I've seen people that have developed magnetic-driven generators that provide power off of over unity. I've seen people, you know, they take you know, regular old generators. So you think of a regular old generator. Okay, so you got a gas motor right here, right? So you got a gas motor right here, right? Okay, what's it run off of? Gasoline, right? So it's run off of gas. It takes money. Okay, because a shaft like this, you know, kind of like this, got magnets here, inductor coil. You turn that, it creates power. Okay, so basically, I've seen people that, you know, just rip this motor out of here like this. They've set up a flywheel like this and put magnets on this thing. Okay, if you ever seen how you take, you know, opposing magnets and they use that, you know, that force, you know, there's a force there to push it along. And I've seen people take very strong magnets, you know, and push it up against this flywheel once these things are aligned perfectly, and this thing just goes spinning crazy. Turns the generator, produces power. Where? For free, out of nowhere. You need gas. You don't need gas to turn a generator. You know, this has got this right here. So basically, that's a concept of tearing apart, you know, your typical Honda generator, ripping the motor out, putting this flywheel on here, and using magnetic driven. But there's a guy named John Searle that has developed, has taken it to a whole new level. And he's developed generators that can create like 1,000,000 watts, and enough to power like you know, a couple of houses at least. And basically, his design is he's got a circle like this of a magnet. Okay, so basically, this whole circle right here is a magnet, and then there's another magnet in here. Okay, and then you know, there's opposing poles. There's, you know, there's north, south. So there's opposing poles all along this thing right here, right? Okay, so that's where you get your differential. And then he's got these magnet tubes that roll along on the inside here, okay? And basically, when he starts this thing up, it does basically the same thing this is doing. It's opposing, you know, forces right here, but it's making these tubes, you know, spin around like this. But then rather than having, you know, two different devices like you have here, you've got the drive device here, you've got the inductor coil and magnets right here. He's using the force of the magnets as well as the magnets in the generator in one. You know, I guess to sort of you know, make things more efficient, if you will. That's what we'll call it, more efficient. And then the inductor coil, rather than being in here, is actually part of the same magnets as well. So these tubes are wrapped in wire right here, which acts as the inductor coil. And then the drive motor is the same as the motor that drives, you know, the power for the induction process right here. And then with these things spinning around in here, you know, he's got you know, these things rub against metal, you know, that have poles that come out and, you know, create the power. So basically, all he does is, you know, he just pushes this thing along, and it just starts spinning like crazy, and starts producing power. You know, you don't need gas, you don't need coal, you don't need nuclear, you don't need anything. Other sources of energy, I've been researching water-driven cars. You know, I've dug in quite deep into that, and cars that run off of water. You know, well, how does that work? You know, basically, what they do is you got water in a bucket, and then, you know, they stick electrodes down in there, and through a process called electrolysis, they separate the hydrogen and the oxygen. So you've got two flammable fuels right there, hydrogen, oxygen, both flammable. You use this fuel. Why are we using it? It's the most abundant natural resource there is. And what happens when you're done with it? It turns back into water, goes right back into the earth, and recycles itself. So why are we using this? It's the $1 trillion oil industry. Yep. Well, that, you know, the source of income goes away too. So the solutions are out there.
That's when they start screaming,
It's just-
communist!
It's just that, yeah, exactly.
It's a free market society.
So how does that fit in with the UFOs?
Well, if they were here, they would give us that technology freely to use it for peaceful purposes. And then, you know, we can say goodbye to the oil and nuclear and utility industry forever. Bye-bye. Yeah. But, you know,
So
they got bothered
why are they keeping the information about the UFOs away from us
for that reason.
for that reason?
Greed, money, power, knowledge.
But you alluded to lifting the veil. Isn't Seleucus saying that that will be very soon and that they'll bring these technologies?
Yes, it's from what I understand, it's
And that's gonna, will that
it's-
coincide with the ascension?
the shit's gonna hit the fan, so to say.
So it's two different things going on, if not more.
Yeah, exactly. It's all coming to a head. Exactly.
Have anything to do with us going into that rift across the galaxy?
Yes, I think that's where a lot of the source of vibrational energy comes from. It's
Waiting for us over there?
it's coming, you know, it's energy coming from, you know, the center galaxy star that is helping us to raise our vibrational rate, to awaken us, to change our attitudes towards, you know, not fighting with each other, you know, being more friendly with each other, raising our vibrational rate.
Well, I guess that's where the Boris the Cannon's separation of the Earth occurs, right? When we cross into that.
I think we've got a lot more to do before that happens. But it's not, I mean, it's a year and a half down the road, supposedly, you know, if it does happen in 2012. So,
Well, that's another brain teaser, because that's the
Yeah.
one where it draws the third dimension people over here, so we can move forward here. I think that's essential. Somehow it's gotta be, we all gotta be on board, you
right. Again, the technologies that were, you know, were given to us by the Greys, they used for the military-industrial complex. You know, they keep us in perpetual war. You know, in order to keep feeding that military-industrial complex, and it just, you know, it feeds back to the same thing. You know, we need, you know, we should be coming to peace. We should be using technologies for peaceful purposes. Instead, they're opting to use it to keep us in perpetual war, feeding the military-industrial complex, and, you know,